you. So, for those of you that don't know you, Paia, I just wanted to introduce Paia to the channel because, as you saw in the community tab, we started a podcast, The Shameless Truth, which is going to be starting
Woo!
on September 24th here. And we are going to have these on Tuesdays at noon. So, you're going to get your Tuesday tea. Make sure to come hang out with me and Paia because we will be talking to y'all in the chat. But Paia, I just want you to just share with the channel, like, who you are. Just introduce yourself. Let them get to know you, everything like that.
Hey, everybody. First of all, Jackie, thank you for inviting me
You're
on
welcome.
your channel. So, this is my first ever YouTube anything,
Woo!
and I'm excited. Yeah, I've been having
Yay.
goals and intentions of also growing my own YouTube channel, but things get in the way and I work on other things. So, I'm so grateful that you and
Mhm.
I went to Bali to do this. I mean, literally, we've been
Yeah.
talking about this since like last fall, and it is
Yes.
now the birds, like September.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just talking about this. Like, we're like, Jackie, Paya, we have so much stuff to say.
Yeah.
And because we have so much stuff to say, we're like, you know what? We should really start like a podcast or a YouTube channel to really talk about these things as therapists,
Mhm.
as women, as child-free women, and women who are not married. You have a long-term relationship, but not legally married. So,
No, I'm living in sin.
woo! Well, I'm single and I'm 40, so I don't have
Yeah.
any cats or dogs though. It's just
Yeah.
me. Yeah, it's just me and my books and other things.
Me,
So,
myself, and I. Ooh, other things. I wonder what that means.
I'll leave it to your imagination. But yeah, so we wanted to really start this and just be open and honest and shameless as women, as therapists, as people. And I know that you and I are going through this and we do our work. We know that a lot of other people are dealing with the same stuff. And we just wanted to be very shameless and speak our truth. And Shameless
Yes.
Truth was perfect time. And Bali was the perfect place to do this. So I'm excited about all of this.
I'm excited about all this too. Do you want to share like a sneak peek, like what the fuck was our inspiration for doing this podcast? Because I don't know if people know.
I think we have a lot. We have a lot of inspirations. I know our trip to Bali was another inspiration, especially the second week. Was was
Yeah,
really inspiration, and
it was a shit show,
it
is
was a
what she
shit show,
means.
and we're using that experience to really reframe our experiences into a positive because
Yeah.
I knew that going to Bali was going to change our lives. Everybody else said that. However, it
Yep.
was not life changing in the way that we thought it would be. It was like, oh, damn, we got to do something about this. So that's where we got our inspiration from is Bali.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bali was the inspiration. I like keep looking down at the chat, everybody. Hi, Chris. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Madison. Thank you all for being here. Um,
Yeah.
Bali was a big inspiration for sure. The second week, Pai and I, we are still doing episodes on that, y'all. And I know a lot of like my clients have asked me, how was it? And I've shared with some a little bit about it. I've shared with others a little more about it. Just depends, right?
Hmm.
And I said, nah, if you really want to know, this is not me saying go like my shit, go do whatever. But if you want to know the shameless truth about what the heck happened in Bali, like, go watch my YouTube channel down the line, or I'll let you know when those episodes come out because a lot of them were genuinely very curious, you know.
Yeah,
And I think one of the coolest things about us being in Bali and filming was we got people's heads turning at us.
we
Like we
did. We
had
did.
two potentially, I don't want to assume gender, but like two young women who came up to us and was like, "Oh my god, like what are you doing? Blah 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 blah." And they were like, "Oh my god, you're going to be doing this? Like what's the channel? What's it going to be on?" We were like, "It's not up yet. We just started it this week, but we've been
Yeah.
talking about it for a year." And it was so cool to just see other people excited for us because I know
Hmm.
I've talked to you about like when you are in your own business, a solopreneur, not
Mhm.
married, not pregnant, no kids, I don't own a house, like, you're a non-traditional woman, you
Very
just get a
unconventional.
very conventional. You get a lot of shame with that. And you also get a lot of people who don't support you, or they
Mhm.
think they don't know how to like support you. So it's so cool that you and I were in Bali and like we already had support for this. And
Yeah.
we saw that like right away. And then you also said, like, in one of our episodes when we talked about marriage and your back got burned.
What did I say again?
Well, your back got burnt because you were like, let's do the in front of the ocean. But you were saying there was like these older couples or whatever, and they were looking at us like they wanted to jump in and like talk to us. We're like, say something to us. And so it seemed like we caught like people's eyes and people were very curious, like, what are these two women doing and who are they
Mhm.
and why are they carrying around a fucking ring light and like a laptop or cameras and shit to record it. So it's just been really cool being able to see how we're like turning heads already with this
Yeah.
and people are very curious about it.
Yeah, and the not the funny thing, but it's been strangers who have been giving us well wishes and this is your followings and so I don't know who your followings are, but to
Yeah.
me they're strangers and all their like blessings. Thank you, Andrew and Madison.
Yeah.
Just thank you
Mhm.
for giving your blessings and saying congratulations. And it's more than my own friends and sometimes my own family has given me. So the blessings of strangers and being so supportive is so amazing. While our family and friends like, oh, what are you guys doing? It's like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing. It's like, oh, okay. So I just want to say thank you for the people who are
Yeah.
watching this, your followers, for giving their blessings and congratulations to us. And that means a lot to me. And it means a lot to me too.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was Tito, shout out to you, Tito, if you ever watch this. He or they are one of my biggest like supporters on this channel. Thank you, Krisha, Mama Krisha. She's always a
Hi,
shameless squad.
Krisha.
She's a Libra rising, Paya. So
Woo-hoo!
yeah, you two are
Libras.
similar when it comes to some things. Shamelessly. And one of my subscribers here, Tito, they typically comment a lot, watch a lot of my live streams. Shout out to you, Tito, everything like that. But they were the first comment on my community tab of when I posted announcing it on this platform earlier. I've never met this person. They're a YouTube and they're like excuse me, very supportive AF person. And it's just beautiful to see because I know when you and I have been on, I don't want to speak for you, but at least when
Mhm.
I have been on, different platforms, played around with different things, I haven't always gotten the best support from people. And so getting off of the
Yeah.
different platforms where I don't feel as supported or whatever, I don't talk to some of those people that are a part of my
Mhm.
life. YouTube just feels so much healthier and better social media wise and technology wise. And like, if those people truly want to support, they will show up and they'll interact and they'll do whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hello, beauties, and that's good. It's good that you're a Libra.
Libra
But
squad.
yeah, and you mentioned wanting to be able to do more with like your YouTube, and I'm just so
Yeah,
grateful that you wanted to do this with me and trust me like
yeah.
with this endeavor because I know we are playing around with it and I know that this is like the beginning of something big since we started at
Mhm.
Bali and have been talking about this for a year. And so people might think, oh my gosh, so lucky you went to Bali to do this. Like we created that opportunity for ourselves and
Yes,
we
we did.
really had to be strategic about budgeting and planning and thinking about costs in Minnesota where we're at versus Bali. And Bali
Mhm.
was the better bang for our buck. So for
It
those
was.
content creators out there, that's just a shameless truth to kind of think about if you're traveling and going somewhere. But what are the things I want to ask you this just so people kind of get to know you on my channel here?
Mhm.
Like what are the types of content that you want to create? Can you just tell people like what you're kind of vibing or what things you want to
Yeah.
really talk about on YouTube here?
Yeah, so as you all can see, I'm all about your own pathway. And, in some of our episodes, you and I talked about our upbringing and how our upbringing really, really shaped us in who we are today. And, I was on a podcast and they asked me, like, what was their inspiration? And I said, I have to go way back. I have to go way back and say, I was expected to be a certain way, especially as a girl, as a woman. And growing up, I'm like, is this all I'm meant to be? Is this what I'm supposed to be? Am I supposed to just be like complacent and be settling? I'm like, I don't think so. I don't want to be in a small Midwest town and have kids and a husband and a 9 to 5. Like, is that what I'm meant to be? And I'm like, no, no. And so
Mhm.
I really had to step out of my comfort zone. I really had to live and learn professionally, personally. I had to do all of that. I had to make a lot of learning curves. I had to learn to make a lot of modifications and pivoting to be where I am. And your own pathway is all about that. And I said, I'm going to forge my own path and I'm going to freaking own my path. Even
Mhm.
if I had to learn lessons the hard way, or even if it seemed like I got scammed out of certain experiences, I'm gonna use that experience as a positive. And
Yeah.
so really changing my mindset and reframing everything to just say things happen a reason, and how do we learn from this? And so it's your own pathway is all about that. And so I'm a trained therapist. I am a licensed independent clinical social worker here in Minnesota, Wisconsin. And I'm finding that I want to do more than be a therapist. I feel like therapy is very small, doing one-on-one work, and there's not a lot of returns for me. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, what way can I actually help more people than just doing one on one? I thought, okay, content creation, writing blogs, putting my message out there on Instagram, YouTube, even TikTok. But but I can't say because it's my
I mean,
nieces and
YouTube
nephews.
will like that, but like, ew, TikTok.
But it's my nieces and nephews that are liking my TikTok stuff, so I can't say ew. My 2 likes are them. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Cute.
and so I'm like, that's the way I want to help people is people were like me, people were stuck like me, and I want to help people and say, you know what, you don't have to be stuck. You can create the life that you want. And if I can create it, you can create it. If me, I had a lot of barriers, systematically, socially, it looks like I had a lot of barriers, but I didn't let those barriers stop me. And I want to empower other people that we all have circumstances that keep us stuck. And yet we can overcome those circumstances to really create the life that you want. Whether you're a business or you're an individual, I'm all about that. And it's all about healing from the past and moving forward and changing your mindset, believing that you can do anything. And other people are not going to believe in you, but you got to believe in you.
Mhm. Absolutely. So it sounds like a lot of content creation around like, don't let your past define you and don't let your path define you because it's like
Yeah.
always changing and like there's always power in the pivot and like moving forward and like you don't have to be small. Like people can be big in the world and like you also have to make those active choices to like push the needle forward in order to do some of these things. And
Hmm.
yeah, like, there's so many different free social media like platforms where people can literally you know use as a platform. And some people don't even think about how much representation matters of therapists,
Yeah.
how much representation matters of a BIPOC therapist, how much representation matters of a coach and a consultant and
Hmm.
a woman who is doing life in the way that she wants to fucking do it and like
Yeah.
not living by anybody else's rules or standards. Yes, things happen for a reason. YouTube are great and your paths are going the right way. I believe that for both of you. I'm so proud of you. Yes, believe. Heck yeah.
Thank you.
That is
Thank
our
you, fellow
plan.
Libra.
Fellow Libra rising. Yeah, she's a Libra rising. She's a Cancer sun. She's
Oh.
crabby like me. She's emotional. But Yeah, I just wanted to be able to introduce you and to, really have people kind of understand like who you are and you and where you're going and moving into and the things that we're going to be talking about here moving forward and in the future. I'm so excited that we did the podcast, and I wrote this in the post today, like that we really wanted to do it. Like a big part of our inspiration was we would see doctors, nurses, lawyers, just random people not actually trained or credentialed or in mental health fields or
Mhm.
anything like that. And talking and commenting about a lot of stuff and even
Yeah.
relationships and even sex. Like I've seen different
Yeah.
people that claim to be, sex therapists, and they're not. They don't even have a master's degree, but like they can
Ooh.
do that because they can
Mhm.
and they can't. But like, who's going to come after them realistically and
Right.
logistically? So it's just kind of one of those things. I think you and I kind of maybe had an unspoken bond. You can tell me no if this isn't true for
Mhm.
you, but for me, I felt like we had this unspoken bond of like, we want to talk about this stuff because it's also important to consider where people are consuming, social media from and who they're
Yeah.
actually consuming it from, because we get drilled in our heads so much about, even in undergrad, like if you had an undergrad in psychology, I don't know, but just like reliability, credibility, research, where are you
Mhm.
finding this information, and like who are you following and subscribing to? And I feel like that is super important, at least. So I don't know if
Mhm.
you felt that like unexpected, bond, or connection there too or not, or if you resonate with that. But that was one thing I was kind of thinking about. I was like, I feel like we have this unspoken intention here, whether or
Mhm.
not it is, but like I feel it. So I
I
don't
do too.
know.
Yeah, totally. I do too. And I think like our field has been I understand why there's ethics and
Yeah.
boundaries that we have to follow and abide by to protect the client. I totally get that. And at the same time, I feel like the ethics and boundaries really keep us back from doing more and for us to really put our skills and knowledge out there. Other fields like doctors and lawyers and even MBAs, they are doing things. They're using our field to level up or taking the positions that we are great at. Like we know relationships. We should be in relationships about anything at work, and yet we're not the ones talking about mental health in the workplace. It's other people that get that opportunity. And for us to, I think, to be recognized and to be acknowledged, sometimes therapy is keeping us back from doing more for our field. And I feel that because of that, you and I want to really speak out and be very just shameless about it. And I know other therapists can't be or don't feel like they have the opportunity to say the things that you and I get to say.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And you know how I feel about that? I can't. It's not that they can't, it's that they won't. And that's such a like thinking error for
Mhm.
people in our field or just
Yeah.
people who want to personally grow. It's like you can, and if you if you really want to stand up and speak up against something, a realistic shameless truth of that is some of these therapists can lose their jobs over it. And so they
Mhm.
feel like they can't, and really deep down, like, those therapists are telling their clients, it's not that you can't, it's that you won't. And like, that's the
Mhm.
similar thing. And you and I definitely are in a position where we can, and it's important to share a lot of these things overall and create this opportunity for ourselves to be able
Yeah.
to do it and create this, platform of doing these podcast episodes and being very real in them. And not sugarcoating shit, because I think people just wanna know, "Paya, Jackie, what the hell is going on nowadays in,
Mhm.
therapy field or coaching field, or what do I need to know about relationships, or what do I need to know
Yeah.
about this?" And I think it's good to be able to hear perspective from, both of us. Hi,
Mhm.
Pinky, thank you so much for being here and for your
Hi,
support.
Pinky.
To really be like, wow, well, these two women are doing more than just the therapist reacts, because I know you said
Mm.
that that's a big thing
Mhm.
on YouTube, but really talking about conversations that are important and that matter. And they're really juicy. I think
Yes, yes, they
our
are.
podcast is very juicy. Um, but is there anything else that you want to share or add when it comes to all of this, or any other thoughts with things too?
To me, I think it's groundbreaking. And other people not think may not think so, but I do. I think we're doing is groundbreaking. We're really pushing the boundaries of therapists, and because you and I are solo entrepreneurs, we own our own businesses, we have our brand, that gives us a lot of, and I don't want to say privilege because we created these opportunities for us. We have a
Mhm.
lot, and because we get to do this, we chose to do this, we're going to use our voice in ways that are probably going to be uncomfortable for other people. And I think a lot of people are going to be uncomfortable with you and I. And I'm okay with that. It's all about, being shameless and owning your path and being real. And it's 2024. You're right. People want to know the real deal. They don't want the sugar coated version. They don't want to be like, well, they want to say, like, what's up? Just give it to me. Like, give it to me straight. And we will give it to you straight. We will give it to you straight.
Yes, like I feel like me in those podcast episodes, and some of them, I show up like a fucking animated cartoon that's just triggered. And I'm like, I haven't watched any of them back fully, maybe like one in Bali because I was inspired, but I was like, oh gosh, she was triggered. And if I was triggered, but I'm sharing my shameless truth in that. That's how I'm, alchemizing that energy by keeping it 100% real.
Mhm.
And like, I don't need to protect nobody, like IDGAF energy, right? Like, and I think
Yeah.
that's just a mentality that you and I have. And it's like, if
Mhm.
you are triggered, like, you get to do and be with your work. And the thing is, privilege is such a hard word. And, I said this
Yeah.
to you before, like, sometimes people choose their privilege. We chose to be
Yes.
therapists, we chose to be in this field. And we're also choosing our privilege to be motherfucking honest with people. And I think
Yes,
that's
we
the
are.
groundbreaking part. Like, there's
Mhm.
literally like books out there, like what therapists don't talk about and why. And if
Mhm.
I were a client in therapy and I wasn't a therapist in the field, I'd be like, oh my God, what's the tea? Like, I would want to know because I'm sharing like
Yeah.
intimate details in my life with people. Pinky
Yeah.
says, oh my gosh, I love you both. Thank you, Pinky. Love you.
Thank
Thank you for your
you,
support too.
Pinky.
But
Yeah,
I
thank
think
you.
that's the beauty in what we are doing is we chose this route, and we
Mhm.
get to choose the messages and the things that we want to put out there, and that's what's up. Like, people are going to
Yeah.
respect that more than anything. They may be triggered, but at least like the year later or something like that, they may be like, wow, Paya really triggered me in that episode, but what she said, I'm going to reflect on it. And then people's wheels are going to
Mhm.
really get turned from it too.
Yeah.
Pushing the pedal to the metal is a great opportunity for you both, opening up those
Mhm.
inspirations and love, I don't know what that's supposed to say. Growth or forward in what you're doing. I love it. Hope you are doing it well. Thank you, Chris. Love, 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 love you.
Love
Um,
that.
but any other final thoughts with all of this?
I'm excited. And like I said to you, Jackie, I cannot think of anybody else to do this with. Like,
Mm.
you are the ultimate badass. It is
Aw.
so hard to find another badass who's a therapist, who is a woman, who is not afraid to voice their opinions and really just give it how it is. And I just want to say I'm so blessed and thankful that
Mm.
we found each other through
Me
all
too.
this, like, through all this, like, what universe? Like, somehow the universe said, "You two are meant to be together." And I
Mhm.
remember you in one of our networking groups. I'm like, that that chick is something new. She's not the same as other chicks that I've met, And when I say chick, I don't mean that in a degrading way. I
No.
just mean like she is one badass who's not
Mhm.
afraid to say it, who's done her shit and will say it. And so I'm so
Yeah.
glad that I have found you. I'm so glad that I'm doing this with you. I really cannot imagine doing this with anybody else who is willing to put themselves out there, willing to put, it's like your reputation. It's like your reputation out there. And I truly think we are just going to grow and people are going to love our freshness and our feedback and being real and being raw and being honest because a lot of people don't feel like they could be their authentic self. And you and I are saying, F that, we're gonna be real. So I'm so happy to be on this journey with you.
Oh, I'm so excited for this adventure and you being willing to do this with me too. I'm so freaking grateful to have met you as well. And even I was telling our mutual friend Kale, I was like, I freaking love Paya. How the heck did you connect with her? And she was like, she loves you. And I was like, oh my God, finally a therapist that is, being a freaking rebel with me and not afraid
Yeah.
to say it like it is because I am so over the fakeness in the field and the toxicity in the field and the shame in the field. So we about to expose some shit.
Yes, yes.
Agreed. And thank you for agreeing with Jackie. Oh, Krisha, you're so sentimental. My little
Oh, that's
cancer over
so
there.
sweet.
But the first episode for everybody out there, it is going to be on September 24th at 12 p.m. That is when you can get your Tuesday tea with Patty and me. We'll be interacting with you in the chat, everything like that. Definitely like this live stream. Show us some support, especially if you want to see us do this more and more and more and more. And in the comments, not the chat, the comments, so we can make sure we get notifications about this.
Mhm.
If you have any questions that you would want Paia and I to talk about in future podcasts, or if something feels aligned, definitely let us know what types of topics you want us to cover. We've got a lot of different things in regards of like therapy, coaching, red flags, green flags of therapists, things about marriage, our Bali traumatic trip that was a shit show that we need to literally talk about because what happened was not normal. And we want to share things to be mindful of when you are looking for retreats in the future, as well as shame and complex trauma. And we have a lot on relationships, red flags, ego, power trips, just so many things. Am I forgetting that we have so much more in
We
store
have
though?
so much, unhealed trauma, unhealed
Yes.
wounds, how they show up,
Yes.
masking with money, materialistic possessions, how people mask that by, masking their own wound heals and trauma. So lots and lots and lots of things.
Lots and lots and lots in store. So again, everybody make sure to like this video, hit subscribe, turn the notification bell on so then that way you get these podcast episodes and you can hang out with me and Paia on Tuesdays at noon to get your
Mhm.
Tuesday tea, aka the shameless truth of everything. And make sure to comment below in this live stream any questions that you have for us. If you want us to do a certain episode in the future, we may consider it if it feels good, and we will do our signature sign off. So, Paya, what's your signature sign off?
Mine is own it.
And stay shameless, everybody. Thank you for being here today.